What's up, everybody? I'm here at the Miami protest against escalations of tensions with Iran. I have a very special guest who is here for the same reason that I'm here. I mean, partially the Iran conflict, but also it's really cold up north. Medea Benjamin is with us today. I have to, one, thank you for everything that you've done so far. Because obviously I follow you on Twitter. I read a lot about you. I was actually a cheerleader for you when you were going into that thing with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Not a fan of Debbie either. She's had some things done to me as well. So, first, thank you. And second, what is your take on this entire ordeal? One, there seems to be one side, obviously, the Republicans, who are cheering for this, right? And have been a lot of the same voices that have been cheering for this for years. But on the other side, me personally, I'm seeing a lot of indifference. Not enough action, preventative action from the Democrats on the left that are in Congress with the power to do something. What's your take?
My concern is that a lot of their complaints are that they weren't consulted beforehand and that they want a chance to hear more about it and perhaps even vote on it. But I worry that if they get a chance to vote on it, they'll vote yes, because there are so many precedents where Congress just bows down, especially when you're in the middle of attacks, and there will be attacks from Iran, and then it's going to be harder and harder for our representatives to say we got to stop this. So that's why it's so important that we build up a real grassroots movement so that we can pressure on our elected officials.
I mean, what do you honestly believe the odds are of them voting against war after this is the same legislature that voted to give Trump more money?
I think it depends on us. You know, you can look back, I think it was in 2013 when Obama was in power and he said that Syria had crossed the red line using chemical weapons and that he was going to respond by military attacks. And because they took it to their parliament in the UK, he said, all right, you take it to the Congress here. And we came out from the left and the right saying, no, 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 and stopped Obama from getting us involved in that time. So I think we can stop him.
You know, I'm glad that you mentioned that. I think that you would probably agree. Bombing 7 countries, clearly Obama wasn't the peace president.
Right.
But I think that actually speaks more to the proof that if we get active, if we do things like what we're doing here today, even those who stand to profit from the war, those who are in power because of the promises they made and their popularity and their mandate, they will still rebuke those who are trying to profit if we come out and speak, and it could cost them their office, their power, etc. But yeah, what I was just asking is, have you seen a pattern between Iran, Syria, obviously Iraq, Venezuela even, where it seems like we supposedly care about human rights atrocities, and we use that as a reason to attack these nations, to destabilize them, and yet we have Saudi Arabia right here in our face committing open atrocities, but for some reason we see them as an ally. Do you see a pattern there?
Absolutely. It's all about, we want governments that are open to U.S. corporate interests. And the U.S. has a very cozy deal with Saudi Arabia, mostly Saudi Arabia using their vast petrodollars to buy U.S. weapons, many billions of dollars of U.S. weapons. And in addition to that, we have cozy relationships with the very repressive government of Israel, and with repressive governments like the Egyptian one that came to power through a coup and put 40,000 people in prison. So the U.S. has no problem dealing with repressive governments when they're open to U.S. corporate interests.
Yeah, that's what it's beginning to seem like. I mean, it seemed like that for quite some time, but I think with the abundance of information that we have at our disposal, we can start to see those clear patterns formulated. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this. Did you know that Iran just found 53 or so billion barrels worth of crude oil in November? Literally just happened. And I'm sure you also knew that even though Trump now classifies him and his military as a terrorist organization, did you know that NBC in 2015, just 4 years ago, said that Soleimani was actually the one who was the leading force against ISIS in the region? So now we're starting to see a pattern of those who have been considered worldwide as leaders against terrorist organizations. It seems like those are the ones we're more concerned about taking out than the actual terrorist organization.
Absolutely, and Soleimani was somebody who the U.S. was working with back in to try to overthrow the Taliban in 2001.
Yep.
And Soleimani was the Quds Force was the one that were fighting against Al Qaeda, Al Nusra, and ISIS. They've always been against the Sunni extremists.
Yeah.
So yes.
So how can they rationalize? I just don't. How can
Because
they
the American
rationalize?
people don't know about this stuff, and so they just lie and they say that Soleimani was responsible for the deaths of hundreds of U.S. soldiers. You know, who's responsible for the death of hundreds of U.S. soldiers? No, thousands of U.S. soldiers. George Bush,
Yes.
sending them into Iraq in the first
Right.
place on the basis of lies.
Afghanistan.
If anybody should be held accountable, it should be George Bush.
And I would even go venture to say once again, we didn't find Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan. Obviously, we didn't find him in Iraq. We found him in Pakistan. So we knew for a fact that he was Saudi Arabian. We knew he was Saudi Arabian royalty. We also knew for a fact, because Pakistan's braggadocious about it, that they house terrorists all the time. Yet, not one time out of the chicken hawk's mouths have you ever heard we have to go to Pakistan to get him.
On the contrary, the U.S. gives hundreds of millions of dollars to Pakistan every year.
Absolutely, it's sad. So, thank you very much.
Well, thank
I
you.
appreciate you
So good
organizing
talking to you.
this. Yeah, it was a pleasure meeting you in person. And keep up this great work, and hope we can keep knocking. Thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Of course, if YouTube is giving you trouble, as it always does, you can download the Rockfin app and follow us there. Also, if you want to continue to help our show grow, you can help us reach our goal of 500 patrons on Patreon and donate as little as $1. Really, anything helps. Other than that, always remember, people, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.